These are the last places you'd expect to call home. A monument company.
I would hate to have a house that looked like everybody else. I just wouldn't do it.
A worm farm?
This is the worm farm. I've turned it into a perennial garden.
And this steam plant. I'm Tony Prasran, and all these homes have been rezoned.
Next, renovating a 100-year-old dry goods store.
My vision was a loft, very much like a New York-style loft.
It took a lot of vision and hard work to convert this steam plant into a home. Not unlike this next place, an old dry goods store that's been rezoned.
Oskaloosa, Iowa. Ain't exactly Manhattan, but you'd never know it by looking at Jim Zimmerman's cool digs.
My vision was a loft, very much like a New York-style loft.
Once upon a time, this third floor was retail space for a dry goods store. But open the door, and wow, 5,200 square feet hits you right in the face. Jim created space for a kitchen, dining room, and living room. Around this wall is another sitting area and an office. This wall is one of the few in this wide open space.
The original support posts were in the center of the building. We wanted to leave those so you could see them all the way up through the walls that we had added. So we tried to hook the wall around it, did some decorative stuff with it, and then used sonotubes on the back to create that post feel on the other side also.
The wall creates a division for a guest bedroom and master bedroom.
This one's 20 by 28. My father tells me it's the same size as the living room in their house.
And in the master bathroom, these windows are over 7 feet tall with no curtains. Hey, but in Oskaloosa, there's nobody to peek in.
This is one of the tallest buildings. There are about 4 buildings that are 3-story. Most of the buildings are 2 stories.
Now that would never happen in Manhattan. Back by the front door is a bathroom with a wide open shower, a vanity made from a log slab, and a blast from the past.
One of the things that we did was we found some old mirrors in the basement from when it was JCPenney's. These are old fitting room mirrors. Hung them at an angle to give it kind of a different look.
The secret to successful loft design is defining without dividing.
One of the ways we decided to create the spaces of the different rooms was to do these raised levels. So you went from the floor here to the maple floor to create this nice space where this is obviously a dining room space. It's very defined, but there are no walls in the space at all. And then you go on back this way, and by creating another raise and also by changing the flooring to the tile, it creates another space.
In the spirit of define, don't divide, there's this clever concept.
One of the ideas with the wall was to have a way to define space without making permanency. And so we used this movable wall that's on wheels. So when I want to define a sitting area, you can have it here. Or I can make an office.
And all good loft design needs a bit of groovy grunge.
This is the original roof ladder. There's also 2 fire escapes in the building. But I decided to keep this because it was kind of cool. Not many people have a ladder in their dining room.
Jim left this patch of brick exposed as a reminder of the building's history. When the store was built in 1870, it only had 2 stories. 20 years later, a 3rd level was added.
This is the original top of the parapet wall when it was a 2-story building. So you can see the bricks going across, you can see the original tar, and they just built the building taller when they added the 3rd story to the building.
Back in the day, this floor was filled with happy shoppers.
It's really an old store, and it's neat to imagine, all the racks and all the people up here shopping at one time.
In the 1950s, new merchandise sold out to old storage. And when Jim bought it,
the plaster and the paint in the walls were all falling off. The floor was all gray and covered with dust.
But Jim was one smart shopper.
Yeah, I used to walk into the space and go, this is so cool. This would make a great place to live. You got the wonderful hardwood floors and the big windows and the tin ceiling. And just a cool space.
Making this space look cool took 10 months. Renovation costs were less than buying a new home. The results are a loft that any New Yorker would die for, with some small-town amenities.
Downtown living is a lot of fun. We have 11 places to eat downtown. There's a coffee house around the corner. The movie theater is only a block away.
Across the street is a charming slice of Mother Nature.
And who needs a yard when you have one like this that everybody maintains for you?
Plus, Jim can get to work in a New York minute.
The best part about living here is the 30-second vertical commute.
Because he manages the shoe store downstairs.
Today I made it in 28 seconds.
So Jim, I guess he's got it all. Cool Manhattan loft in a tiny Iowa town.
It's been a very fun experience. It's neat to have people come over. It's neat to see their reactions to the space because they don't expect this kind of a space in a little town in Oskaloosa.
Renovating any public building means a lot of hard work, of course. Our next place once housed an old monument company. Who knew?